Let's review what's an acceptable shopper and an acceptable situation to reschedule. Now, it's all based on qualifying. I'll give you an example. Anyone that, and write these down, anyone that does not have a car and is in the process of buying a car, that's a shopper. I'll tell you how to handle these shoppers, but that would be considered a shopper. Someone that's possibly quoting for someone else, but they're not on the policy, they have nothing to do with the decision making, that may be a shopper. A client that's walking in with multiple vehicles or multiple drivers and they currently do not have the information. They don't have the registrations, the VIN numbers, or the driver's license information, or just the information in general. These are shoppers. These are acceptable shoppers. So from the beginning, instead of focusing on transferring the shopper into a buyer, we're going to qualify to determine if we could obtain that information before we actually give them any options. See, I didn't use the concept of or the objection of no time or no money. Those could be handled. Those are shoppers that could be transferred from a shopper to a buyer. It's going to require a lot of investigation, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of emphasis on them making a decision. But those are potential. We could transfer them from a shopper to a buyer. Now, the three that I gave you, we're still going to try, but these may be a lot more difficult because there's other factors that we do not control at the moment. Now, someone that doesn't have a car and is going to buy a car, for example, we could investigate. Is it a car from a dealership, or is it a car from a private party? Is it a car from a friend, relative? And investigate, have you made your decision? Have you paid anything? Have you made a down payment, a deposit? Are you 100% sure that you're going to buy the car? Now, if they say yes to any of these, then we're still working on creating at least a small chance of transferring this shopper into a buyer. So if they already made a payment, let's call the dealership. Let's call the friend, the relative. Where's the car located? Have they already made a decision, or are they thinking about it? So we talk about more detailed, more investigation as far as the level of them purchasing the car. So if they already made a decision, they know for sure they're going to buy it, then this could potentially be a possible, and we could transfer it from a shopper to a buyer. Now we need to call and obtain the VIN number or the plate number, and we could pull the VIN number. So there's still a way to handle these shoppers. Now, if the answer is no, I'm still looking, or maybe they don't even have a vehicle, they just have an idea. They're looking for a Honda Civic, possibly 2010 to 2014. They just want to know, or they're in the process of getting a new vehicle, 2019, 2020. They really don't know what option, maybe a Honda Accord, maybe a Honda Civic, maybe a Toyota Camry. In that sense, it's a completely shopper because they have not made a decision on what car. They have not made a payment towards that car. They have not went through the process of getting the car. They're in the process of making a decision, choosing what car they're going to get. So this is a little bit different. So we'll just give them a quote and then we'll reschedule them. This is a shopper, acceptable shopper. The following, number 2, if they're getting a quote for a third party. Now, let's say, for example, the father walks into the office and he's quoting for the son. Now, we're also going to investigate, we're also going to handle the shopper, the situation, by looking into the situation to determine if we could transfer this from a shopper to a buyer. Now, what does that mean? That means, is the father going to make a decision? Can they make a decision? Are they involved in the policy? Are they going to be a driver? Do they live under the same address? Does the father help the son in any way financially, or just making a decision? Can we call the son? Can we get the son on the phone? Can they make a payment for the son just in case? So all of these qualification questions are going to help us determine if we could transfer that shopper into a buyer. Now, if the father is able to make a decision for the son, is able to make a payment for the son, is able to get the son on the phone, or if they help them and they're responsible for that situation, then they're no longer a shopper, they're a potential. But if the answer is no, I'm just here to get a quote, he's going to be responsible, I have nothing to do with the policy, we don't live together, I'm just doing him a favor, then that's a shopper. We'll give him a quote, we'll reschedule him. The following, number 3, no documents for registrations or for drivers. In this situation, we're also going to go through the qualification process. We're going to find out, do they have insurance? Have they had insurance? What policy? Do they have the policy number? Do they know the company? Do they know the agency? And we could call and try to obtain a debt page to gather the information. Or can we call someone at home to get the information, the driver's license, the registrations, the VIN numbers, all of these missing information, missing documents, we're going to try to call or find a way to see if we could gather that information today. If we are, then it becomes a potential. If we're not, then there's nothing we can do. We're not able to process a policy without the VIN number or simply without the information of the driver, unless we don't add that driver or that vehicle. So if there's one vehicle here, we could try to see if that's even an option of insuring one car or insuring the drivers that we have the information for, and then it becomes a potential. But if they want to do everything all together, then in that case it's going to be impossible. This will become a shopper. We're going to have to reschedule. So the concept of a shopper simply means someone that there's no possibility whatsoever due to the information that we have. Now, if we have all the information, if we have the driver's license, the registrations, and they're telling us they don't have any money, they're giving us objections, no money, no time, I need to talk to a spouse. These are shoppers that can be transferred into a buyer. You just need to find the closing tool, or you need to persuade them, you need to add value, you need to add urgency to convince them on leaving with insurance today. These are not shoppers. They seem to be a shopper, but we're going to transfer the shopper into a buyer. A shopper is someone that's not able to make a decision based on the ability of leaving with insurance at a specific date, getting a third-party quote, getting a quote for a car that they don't have, or simply not having the information for the cars. Those are the only acceptable shoppers. Those are the only situations that are acceptable when we're talking about shoppers and having to reschedule someone. The no time, need to talk to my spouse, no money, all of these are objections that you could handle, and you could eliminate, and you could overcome by using all the knowledge, all the tools, all the information, all the justifying factors, all the closing tools to transfer a shopper into a buyer. So keep in mind, there's a difference of an actual shopper, 3 situations, and a shopper that can be transferred into a buyer by handling their objections.